All right, hi everybody. Good morning. Confusing thought with reality. Or mistaking thoughts for reality. Thinking they're the same. No, not realizing that your thoughts are not actually fact. They're not the only way of looking at things. This is a huge, important thing to be able to do, or something that happens as you, grow. It's something that happened to me for sure. I used to think, or I used to just, it's not even a thought. You don't realize that you're doing it. But I used to be convinced of my thoughts, let's put it that way. That they were correct. Way more than now. I still do it, for sure. Now in some circumstances about certain things. I'm pretty good if I'm looking at a tree, or I'm looking at something. I can easily distinguish between the fact of what I'm seeing, of what's there, of what's real, and my interpretation of it, my associations, what my mind creates around the thing. That's what we're talking about. To be able to tell the difference. But when it comes to how I act around other people, it gets a lot harder. So compare a tree in its simplicity. There's that beautiful tree out there. To a person. Oh my goodness. Is there any wonder that it is much easier with the tree than it is with the person to know where the line is between what's real and what I am making of it, my interpretation. When I say I mean my mind. I mean this thing, the computer, the interpreter. With a person, especially those who are close to me, aka my partner, or maybe my family, it is really hard for me to see my judgments, my conclusions, my wonderful ideas, interpretations, understanding of that person. It's hard to see all that stuff as that. Because what my mind wants to do with it is just to simplify and say that is actually the truth. Which, if you think about it, is ludicrous. That's ridiculous. And all you have to do is look around and see that there are 10 other people with 10 other interpretations of those same things, right? But the thing is, in an intimate relationship, I think what happens is we think that we know the most about this person. So I think that I am an actual expert on my mom or on my partner. And it's where it gets a little hairy, because it's true that I have been around these people a lot, right? That I do know a lot about them. I know a lot about their past, how they have reacted to certain things, all this stuff, evidence for my conclusions, of course. And yes, that is true. And it's still not reality. It's not the same thing as who they actually are. It's not even the same as, I don't even remember the stuff that they did completely accurately. I know that also. It's inaccurate. It's one viewpoint. But when you're dealing with a person who you've shared lots of things with, and really you do know a lot about, it becomes increasingly difficult to see your mind activity around that person as that. And you can feel it almost immediately, that you buy into this story that you have about this person. When they show up, you buy into it. You see how invested you are in your story, your conclusions about this person, how reactive you are to certain things, and you could see that you're not as clear-headed as you are with the tree. Not even close. I have a very straightforward relationship with the tree back there. It's not challenging me in any way. If I get mad at the tree for, like, having some brown on it or something, that's my problem. And I think to make progress, like, I made a lot of progress with this stuff, obviously over the years, many years. We hear it all the time. You have to be able to do this, like, within yourself, and then it, like, spills out into more and more relationships, more and more times where it becomes active and real. So if you can't do it with the tree, then work on it with the tree. You're not going to be able to do it with a person. But the stronger and better you get at it, the more aware you are that this is what is happening. That your thoughts are not facts, simply. The more you can apply it to harder stuff. Relationships. That's the hardest stuff. But you got to be able to do it within yourself. Then you can even start to do it with the other person, but that's like the next step. With yourself, to see, like, to bring in a little bit of doubt. That might be, like, number one. You're like, wait, is this true that she always acts like this? Because that's what I find myself saying when thinking, saying in an argument, you're always, that's not really accurate, is it? I mean, that's like a feeling that I have, a fear that I have. And then I state it as if it's some kind of fact and I have this evidence for it, but it's not accurate. Why you always... We've all said this. Because that's what it feels like. And that is the conclusion. As if a person is always doing this hurtful thing. Or that's the fear. This person is always gonna be doing this hurtful thing to me. Even if she did once do it to me. Or several times. The fear is she's always gonna do it to me. And then, well, yeah, am I gonna be emotional? Mm-hmm. Is it accurate, though? No. Am I ignoring a bunch of counter evidence? Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. Having, like, a whole viewpoint is both, like, more simple and broader, bigger, taking into account actual, like, reality, which seems very complicated and stuff. But it isn't really. It's just, this is a whole person that I'm not going to understand. I don't remember everything about her. And if I really want to, I can find counter evidence and calm myself down. That's like a technique. But when I get real stuck in here and think that this is, like, real, the fact, then I go into, like, simplified, emotional, old patterned ways of managing stuff. And I'm, like, up here completely in La La Land. And when I then act out of that place, of course, the other person's going to act from that same place. It's going to react to that. Unless they are very good at countering this. So it's a constant, like, dance. It's a constant questioning. It's a constant, like, awareness of what this is and what the role of this thing is up here. Just to have it be like, yes, I get what you're doing. I get it. I get what patterns you're accessing. I get what past you're hung up on. It's okay. It's alright, little mind. Little brain. Relax. Extremely difficult to do in the moment with people. I mean, the last time I went to visit my parent, it didn't go so well. Activated completely. Ran off. I mean, that's what I did. I was like, I can't take this. See ya. Very hard to see my very powerful reaction as that, a reaction to essentially the same old stuff, not a surprise. But in general, like my conclusions, I like that word. I have these conclusions about people. And I'm not saying that they're mega rigid, they can change and shift. But man, do I think my conclusions are correct all the time. I really do. And, that goes way back too. And it's like, it's so refreshing, and also it's even freeing to take the pressure off and be like, I don't know. I don't freaking know. I don't need to know. And I don't know. The safety of thinking that you're like right and the simple viewpoint is correct. You can also just drop and be like free instead. Not know. Be like, okay, man, I don't need to know. I don't need to control this. I don't need to know. It's cool. I'm just gonna focus on this. If I feel stuff, I'm gonna focus on feeling it. And not immediately go to some thought conclusion about stuff, which is where I find safety. But yeah, something I think we all do to some degree, for sure. And something you can like measure your growth by too. If you feel like you can sense this happening sometimes, or you can see it in hindsight that this happened, awesome. Because I can easily think back a little ways further, and I was not doing that. I couldn't do it. I had no doubt, even in hindsight. I most of the time didn't judge my conclusions as, maybe lacking, faulty. I didn't really doubt any of that stuff. I thought my judgments and conclusions were correct. Now, not so much. That's great because it allows for change. You can jump out of some patterns. Anyways, I think that's enough for today. Have a great Tuesday. Sending you nice vibes.